Welcome to HB Lifestyle, the podcast. I am the host, the Honey Badger, here to give it to you straight and transparent about the RV business, as well as other things. And today is the episode a lot of you have been waiting for. I'm going to release the information or talk to you about the information that I have gathered that has come from fifth wheel owners about frame problems / frame failure / frame flex, whatever you want to call it. There's been a lot of terminology. I use the word frame failure. Okay. Now you notice I'm in a different background. It's because I'm not filming in the trailer. I'm filming in a hotel room. I needed a break. I needed a real shower, not a travel trailer shower. I needed real water pressure, so I needed a break from the trailer. So you'll have to forgive a little bit of the background noise and the lighting. Okay. First of all, here's a quick disclaimer for everybody. Every piece of information I give on this podcast episode is for informational purposes only. I am not placing blame on any company, entity, or individual. These are allegations, speculation, and claims made by owners of fifth wheel that has been passed to me secondhand or firsthand, however you want to put that. Okay. So here's how we're going to launch. First of all, I'm going to do this based on percentages, not numbers, because I received hundreds of communications from folks. Now, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to reveal names, cities, states. Everybody that sent me the information, your statements to me will die with me. I will never share them with anybody, okay? I was going to share this data originally with Grand Design RV because, as you'll see, the super majority of the people that have reached out to me has had a solitude or a momentum. But after the statement that I released, that I did a reaction episode on, if you want to check that out, I've decided that, in my professional opinion, it would be a waste to send it to them based on their response. So I want to start with this. First off, I'm going to read this. This is a what I call hybrid statement, okay? And what I mean by that is this is a common issue that has been thrown my way, okay? So step back. Let's go with the percentages, okay? 73% of the people that reached out to me, and this is hundreds of people, 73% have a Grand Design momentum or Grand Design solitude. And from what I've gathered, no model number is safe. No model number is prominent. This is an across-the-board issue with those two brands. Mainly, the most prominent year models is 2017 to 2024. Now, I did get some scattered 2014s, a 2013, a 2016. I did get a couple scattered older ones. And this might shock you, but that does not throw a red flag my way, okay? If you're wondering about Grand Design reflection, less than 1% of people reached out to me saying they are having a frame problem with a Grand Design reflection fifth wheel. And I have only 2 total reports on any travel trailer. One of them being a Grand Design Imagine, and one of them being a Forest River Ibex. Again, if I'm wrong and I missed you, I apologize. Okay? So 73%. 5% of you reached out to me and I'm going to combine the two with Keystone Montana High Country and Keystone Montana. Mainly year models 2018 to 2022. Now, I did get one or two older ones. I didn't put that into the data. And what I mean by older ones is I've had some folks that reached out to me that had 2006s, 2007s, 2009s. That was a common problem that was solved by Keystone back then, but less than 5%. So I'm gonna round up 5%. So that means 78% of the folks that reached out to me had those two manufacturers. Now, this is where it gets crazy, okay? Less than 1% of the people that reached out to me had a problem with the following brands: Keystone Cougar, Forest River Riverstone, Mobile Suites, Redwood, Arctic Fox, Jayco North Point, KZ Durango, Forest River Flagstaff, Forest River Rockwood. So in order for me to get to that, what I did was I took all the onesie twosies I got, including Columbus's, Palomino, River Ranches. I'm reading this off my list. I lumped them together and set them aside and just counted them. And even with that, all those brands, less than 1%. Okay. So between Reflection and those other brands I named, you're talking about just over 1% of the folks that reached out to me. Okay. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because now we're at 79%. 4% of you reached out to me regarding Jayco Pinnacle. Okay. Now, the 4% of folks that reached out to me with Jayco Pinnacle, and I'm rounding up to 4%, were year models 2013 to 2022. It was really sprinkled. We're talking about like salt sprinkled, like you're just a little here, a little there, a little here, a little there. Kind of a mixed range of models. But I also want to mention that 1% of you reported a manufacturer that no longer builds, or a brand that's no longer built, and that's Jayco Talon, 2015 to 2019. So now we're at 84%. %16 of you reached out to me regarding, and this is what's going to be interesting, a group of fifth wheels that haven't been built since 2009, 2010, actually, and some 2011. We have Weekend Warrior, mainly the 4005, 3905, Thor Transport, Thor Wanderer, and Fleetwood Gearbox. Now, what is very interesting is now let's take the 84% of people that reached out with stuff that's still being built today. Okay. The folks that reported to me on any brand except for Grand Design, with Grand Design as the exception, folks reached out to me, and out of that, what do we say? So 73% minus 84. So the 11% of you that have a manufacturer that's still in business and still building, out of that 11%, 94% of you reported that the manufacturer has either done some sort of repair, okay, or is in process of doing a repair. Out of the 94%, 20% of you said you were the second owner. Very interesting there. Okay. Here's another interesting fact. Out of the entire other brands outside of Grand Design, Solitude, and Momentum, and again, this is what's been reported to me by customers, that the majority of you, whether it's Keystone, Jayco, Forest River, you were not required to sign any docs stating you would not talk about it. Six percent of you out of all those other manufacturers said that the manufacturer is dragging their feet or not helping you out, or the most common out of the 6% is you are a third owner or you're outside of the 3-year structural warranty. So now let's get to the Grand Design stuff. So Grand Design, Momentum, and Solitude specifically. First off, if you are a second owner, which was 35% of you, said to me that Grand Design has told you they will not help you because the structural warranty is non-transferable. Out of the other 65% of you that own it new or are the first owner, only 40% of you have said that Grand Design has decided to already do the repair, is in process of the repair, or is in process of buying back your fifth wheel. Out of that 40%, 85% of you told me that in order to get the repair, in order to get the payoff or have it bought back, you had to sign that you would not talk about it publicly on any social media platform. That you were never allowed to mention the words frame failure, frame flex, and Grand Design in the same sentence. Again, these are allegations. I cannot prove whether they are true or not. This is purely speculation. This is purely folks reaching out to me, and I cannot necessarily verify that information, but this is just stuff that people have sent to me. The other 60% of folks that are either still have a claim in with Grand Design and are getting the runaround is how you folks put it. Okay. Now, there's more data coming in daily. I finished this early yesterday morning, and I still received emails afterward and communications. So here's what I want to say. This is what I gather out of it. This is my opinion. My opinion is that Grand Design RV, specifically Solitudes and Momentums, are still a young spring chicken. I believe their marketing team, when they first came out, did an amazing job promoting and putting Grand Design RV on the pedestal that has been placed on in the industry. And I spoke about this earlier this year, that I feel like that pedestal ruined the industry. It ruined the industry because now everybody else tried to keep up with the Joneses instead of just doing what they've been doing process-wise for 40-something years. I spoke to a few guys over the phone that were curious about things. So I'm going to reveal how the super majority of manufacturers that have been in business 30 plus years do things compared to a company that's really been relevant for only the last 11 or 12 years. And that is, there's a sign-off period and an engineering period that major corporations like Keystone RV, Jayco, Forest River, etc. go through in order to make a floor plan change. Give you an example. Let's say, for example, that a brand new manufacturer comes out with a floor plan that's just killing it. It's like the hottest selling thing. It's a first-year coach. Nobody's ever seen it before. They're just killing it. Jayco, Keystone, and Forest River, companies like that, don't just go jump in the deep end and say, we got to start building that right now. No, there is a process that has to be done from top to bottom. Is it perfect? Fuck no, it ain't perfect. But if you notice that out of the information people have sent me, these other big corporations do not have the frame problems at the, and again, allegedly, they do not have the major problems Grand Design is running into. And yet, they all pretty much use the same vendors for just about everything. So why doesn't Flagstaff and Rockwood and Keystone Cougar and Redwood and Arctic Fox and Mobile Suites, why do brands like this, why does Jayco North Point, Jayco Pinnacle, why do they not have the massive frame problems Grand Design allegedly has? Because their process developed from running into problems. Because when you run into a warranty problem, a common complaint amongst customers, it is out of anybody's hands that gets a bonus. I'll give you an example. The most common theme, let's just say, for example, here's a great example. Let's say that the LG refrigerators are having a nasty problem across the board. Okay? And it's going to cost Forest River or Keystone or Jayco or Heartland or whoever, it's going to cost them $5-6 million to replace all those fridges. That decision is taken out of anybody's hands that gets a bonus from sales. In essence, the general manager of the factory, watch this, the general manager of the factory does not get to make a decision on that. It is made at a much executive corporate level that does not have their paycheck tied to that scenario. Just think about that. Okay? Just think about that. This was a spreadsheet I created. It's going to stay with me. I'm not going to release it on the internet. I am going to share the data with the people I know at Keystone, Forest River / Coachman / Primetime / all that. I'm going to share it with Thor Industries in general, just their portion. I'm not going to share the Grand Design data. I'm only going to share their brand. But I'll make them a deal. I will share the data with Grand Design if they publicly come out and admit there's a problem. It's just a spreadsheet full of models and years. That's all it is. It has no customer information, no VIN number information, nothing. So much good it would really do at the end of the day. But if they want it, I want a public, stated, non-bullshit fucking narrative crapola statement saying, we are wrong, we are going to dive into this, and we are going to have a massive recall. Because we care about the customer and we care about the customer safety. And the only thing I ask from you guys, the fifth wheel owners out there listening to this, please keep sending me more. It doesn't have to be a Grand Design product, guys. If it's, I've had a lot of folks that reached out to me that have other products. Reach out to me. I care. I will share the data. Even if you own it third hand or fourth hand and way out of warranty, share it with me. Information can only make things stronger if people want the information. And I will tell you that the bigger manufacturers, as much as I get fucking pissed off at the way they treat their dealers, they will take this kind of thing more seriously. Till next time, have a good night.